Welcome. Today we're talking with Michelle Dahl. She is the founder and managing partner of Belle Growth Partners, a growth and business coaching firm, and the founder of the Female Roundtable supporting women in their workplaces. Michelle, welcome and thank you for joining us at Credit Union Digest.
Hi, Larry. It is so nice to be here with you today. I was excited to get to talk to other credit union leaders about what's going on in the industry. And, primarily in my work, I work directly with senior level leaders in credit unions to help them with performance and growth opportunities that they have.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you, Michelle. That's a great lead in to our first question. You do work with a number of credit unions, as you say. So what are you finding are the big challenges today for a credit union CEO?
There is several, and these really aren't in any kind of priority order, but the first primarily, we're hearing a lot about this with the Great Resignation, the Great Rethink, whatever is happening right now, but it's a big challenge for CEOs to determine a different work approach within their organizations with their teams, and how to balance remote work and work inside the credit union space itself, and maintaining a very consistent, elevated member experience, quite frankly. So there's some challenges with the infrastructure when it comes to that point and being able to do that. And, and CEOs are really spending a lot of time along with human resource teams to determine, how do I balance the needs of my workforce and also deliver elevated service to my member base? I think the other piece of this that we often overlook, especially if they have been in a community for a long time, is that change is always happening within the community. So demographic shifts, different businesses are coming in or exiting. And right now, you don't have to just be confined by your brick and mortar location. So looking beyond where you have normally been within a designated community to see what else is around your state, your city, because there's a lot of growth happening, and you want to be able to support new members that are coming in and make them aware of you. So oftentimes we get very tunnel vision that we've always lined up with a certain industry or vertical, and we are unaware that that has shifted or changed. And so we're actually not being very relevant, to the current member base or potential member base. And I think that a couple of things, and this is some of the work, that we do, is that the strategic plan that a lot of CEOs, they spend a lot of time, sometimes they invest in outside resources to help build it. And so we're looking at 1, 3, 5, 10-year plans. But there's a lot of struggle in developing a micro plan where the teams can actually go out and implement. And so when they start and initiate down this path, they'll get some quick wins, which means they will solve maybe an immediate issue, and then they get off track and they kind of snap back into normal day-to-day, and they lose sight of the plan. So it puts them behind performance and revenue, ROI, a lot of financial metrics that are important to determine the health of the credit union. And lastly, I see that a lot of teams right now they're just so focused in product sets and product suites. I'm not saying that they're not important, but we hear a lot about digital, or we feel like we can't compete because we don't have X or Y. And our work, and the work that we do with credit unions, we teach them how to pay attention and optimize the actual household. So the people that are doing business with you, or the people like me that are out in the marketplace, so that you can not only learn what attracted me to your organization, but what I'm utilizing within the organization, and actually optimize the household, and that taking a preference over a product suite focus. So I think those are the top ones that I see in the work that I do.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. So I understand the need for growth. Okay? Every business, every financial institution, credit union wants to grow. But how do you see the difference between organic growth versus growth by acquisition?
Yeah, and we're defining acquisition by to go out and purchase or merge, right? Is that right? Okay? So we teach credit unions that there are a multitude of other ways, very economic ways to actually grow your
Mhm.
balance sheet and your income statement without having to go out and make an acquisition.
Right.
And it kind of alludes to back where I was talking about household optimization. So a couple of points I'll make. We talk a lot about wallet share. We'll start with that first. So in order to impact market, you've got to expand wallet share of your existing or new members. And
Mhm.
wallet share has expanded. So we've got so many digital components now. We've got credit card, we've got lending, deposit suite. So a lot of options. And again, what happens, we get so narrow-minded that we look at just a checking or savings wallet share, and we forget about all of the blended products that come in and actually boost my margin and boost my ability to retain that member.
Right.
So that's one big piece, is understanding how to go in and dissect a strategy around wallet share and be relevant with your recommendations. And again, we can help, credit unions do that. The other part is on household optimization, but I found that we don't understand a lot about why people choose to bank with a credit union. And what is my average type of member? What do they look like? What do
Mhm.
they do? What kind of income do they make? How do they normally bank? What's their household size? All the
Right.
demographic and economic information we really don't understand. And so we go out and we try to cast a really wide net. And now it's getting really expensive to go out and market and try to acquire.
Mhm.
And if we did more homework at home base, and figured out these are the types of individuals that really respond to us and that are loyal to us, and these are ones that are kind of outside of our wheelhouse, and
Right.
understanding and actually making containers and figuring out who those are, you can have so much impact so quickly,
Mhm.
boost your experiences, improve your loyalty channels, and it makes a big difference. So household optimization is like critical job one, in my opinion, because it solves a lot of other problems.
Right. Right. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see where, optimizing the members that you already have is definitely an advantage. I could, while you're talking about this, I could see where the analysis you're recommending could be viewed possibly as overwhelming. How do you
sure.
recommend the credit union CEO get started?
Yeah, so there'd be a couple of areas that I would suggest, and it's okay that if you don't have a business intelligence group, but you are collecting data. And so kind of figuring out what you're collecting or what your core capabilities are,
Right.
is going to be important, because some credit unions, they don't really have a starting base, and they don't realize how much information they actually do have at
Right.
their fingertips, to do that. So, and let me just say one thing here. The reason why this is so important to embark on this process is because when you think about your return on investment, if you pay attention and you realize and invest in your households currently with you, you will
Mhm.
attract and align more people that look like them. You've
Right.
got longer lifetime values than if you go out and you're running just a straight marketing campaign on cold calls, or you're doing rate incentives and things that impact your margin for a long period of time. So this work is really important, and you can start at some pretty basic levels. So let's talk about what you could know pretty easily, is when we think about seasonality in a portfolio, you're going to have a life cycle that naturally happens in a portfolio, and
Okay.
you should be aware of what those runoff rates are and looking at that by product. Those would be pretty easy to obtain. And then correlating that with balances that are on average with that member,
Mhm.
but then comparing it to, okay, if they have a lending relationship or a digital product, whatever that might be, what is the break even point on length of time and balances that
Mhm.
they should be staying with me, so that I'm also getting a return back into my business, and paying
Right.
attention to what that tells you. That's kind of easy to find out. But you should have, and your finance accounting groups should be able to give you your average product bases what that length of time is, what the profitability is by product. And then your marketing teams, or how you're capturing data or business intelligence, should be able to tell you the portfolio aging of that, what the typical life cycle looks like, what your member actually looks like that is aligned, with you, meaning, age, demographics, household size, product usage. And that gives you a really important layout of where to start. Then you can start linking things to your sales strategies, your acquisition focuses, where you're going to invest money for campaigns, if you're going to do campaigns. I'm not a big supporter of running a lot of incentive types of campaigns. You can earn these things if you're asking the right questions and making the right recommendations. But when you get a level set like that as a starting point, it would actually surprises a lot of the C-suite teams that I work with about what it tells you about your work. And it helps you identify then training gaps. It might identify some staffing needs that you're going to need. So it gives you a lot of perspective outside of just trying to grow your business, but about the operation of your business too. So there's a lot of benefits if they'll spend time doing it.
Great. Well, Michelle, thank you. That's all good information.
Welcome.
Great approach. So I can see where your approach would really help credit unions move forward when facing circumstances that might appear to be overwhelming. So thank you for discussing with us how your work provides a catalyst, a pathway to transform complex situations into logical action steps. So thank you.
You're so welcome. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much.
Great. All right. So in closing, thank you for joining us at Credit Union Digest. If you have additional questions for Michelle, please see the link in her bio.